Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Wednesday, May 19th at 4:10 p.m. here in sunny California. I've got a word for you today that I think is going to encourage and motivate you right now, because as you know, there's some blood in the water. We have seen from the top, Bitcoin has dropped 54%, and that's actually nothing, because looking at this Litecoin chart, Litecoin last night lost 52% in one candle, and if you actually go back up to Litecoin's top, it went down a total of 65%, and currently it's sitting at about a 35% drop from where it was yesterday at about this time. Honestly, my trading account got liquidated last night. I did not set stop losses. I expected this. I honestly expected the 100-day EMA to hold for Litecoin, and it did not hold. It broke right down through the 100-day and right down through the 200-day, right through the support, all the way down to $150, sub $150 in one candle, and it was too much. And so myself and a number of members of my community were liquidated. But this is the message I have for you today. If you have a setback, don't take a step back, because your setback is a setup for your comeback. I'm going to say that one more time. If you have a setback, don't take a step back, because your setback is a setup for your comeback. Now, let me tell you why that is important. There is a podcast that I like listening to. It's called How I Built This, hosted by Guy Raz. And in this podcast, Guy Raz, he interviews all of these founders of all of these major companies. And it's amazing to hear the stories. But what stands out in every single interview, there's a story about liquidation, a story about coming to the very end and feeling like it's all over. Every successful person has come to the end of their rope at some point in the journey and either lost it all or come right up to the brink of losing it all. But that moment becomes the defining moment, because in actuality, in hindsight, catastrophe is actually the opportunity of a lifetime. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we go back to this Bitcoin chart here, this weekly Bitcoin chart, if you were around last year in March, you watched from February 20th, you watched Bitcoin dump 62%. If you go up to the beginning of February, Bitcoin dumped 63% in just a few weeks. I remember being in this candle right here. This week was the most anxiety-provoking week of my life. It felt like everything was falling apart, everything was dying. But what was actually happening was an opportunity of a lifetime to buy anywhere in this downturn, anywhere in it. This is where everybody was afraid to buy. But had you bought at the very bottom and sold at the very top, you would have made 1,600%. Bitcoin pumped 1,600% from the bottom of this catastrophe. What I'm saying to you is that the bottom of every catastrophe is the investor's opportunity, which means that this setback was actually a setup for this. Every setback is a setup. Setbacks feel like the end of the world, but they're not. They're actually the beginning of a new world. This right here, this setback right here, is a setup for something that looks like this. It's a setup. In other words, when this is all over, we're going to be throwing all kinds of indicators up here to show how awesome this moment was right here. It doesn't feel awesome right now, But what am I doing in my trading account? What am I doing, first of all, in my investment account? Holding. Just holding. And buying more. What am I buying more of? Hodlers, I'll give you a full report. Everyone else, I'll just tell you, I'm buying some more XLM. I'm buying some more EOS. I'm buying some more Litecoin. I'm buying some more BCH. Getting ready to buy some more Theta token. Buying some more T-Fuel. What else am I buying more of? Hope to buy some more BCD. But definitely buying Theta, T-Fuel, EOS, LTC, XLM. Maybe a little ADA, Cardano. Definitely some BCH. Why? This is an opportunity. This is a moment. Trading account, not a big deal. Small percentage of my investment portfolio. But even there, I'm starting over. This is giving me a new opportunity. I made some mistakes. I met with my group this morning. I took accountability for the mistakes that I made. I did make some mistakes here. But the thing that we got to keep in mind, the difference between successful people and non-successful people is that people who become successful in the end are able to identify the opportunity in their catastrophe. In every catastrophe, there is an opportunity. This looks like the end of the world, but it's actually the beginning of a new world. Now, really, the only question is, how far will this go? How far down will this go? And the answer is, I don't know how far down it's going to go. Some people are saying this is the bottom. I mean, if you look at this Bitcoin chart, actually, I expected 30,000 to be the final level of support. And I said in my previous video, last video I made was last Friday, and I said if it breaks beneath that, all bets are off. It could go down and back test 20,000. And so looking at this would be a back test of this previous level here. But we'll be watching this $30,000 level. Really, if we get beneath this support level here at 36,000 again, then we'll probably revisit 30,000. And if we revisit 30 and break beneath it, we'll probably go down to the low 20,000s. What does that mean for the altcoin market? Is altcoin season over? And the answer is no. Altcoin season is just getting started. The only difference is that we may have to see 4 to 6 weeks of consolidation before these levels take off again. This, get rid of that because it didn't happen. This is invalidated. We're beneath the trend here, and so it's going to take some time for us to reestablish the trend. How long is that going to take? I don't know. We're going to have to watch it and see. But the RSI is broken. The MACDs are pointing straight down. The only difference is we now have recovered support above the 200-day EMA. Bitcoin is still beneath the 200-day EMA, and so that's a technical problem for Bitcoin. The key is when Bitcoin gets to the bottom of its correction, wherever that is, and then begins to consolidate at that level, that's when the altcoins are going to take off again, and they're going to explode again. And I'm still expecting some face-melting profits from the altcoins this season. Theta is a strong buy right now. Is it going to go lower? It could. But anything lower than $10 for me is a great buy for Theta token. Keep that in mind. Wow, this is crazy, guys. I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's nuts. I did not anticipate this. I don't know that anybody anticipated a 50% engulfing bearish candle in one night. But it happened. And in the long run, it's good. And it's good for a number of reasons. One of the reasons why it's good is because every one of these little drops Bitcoin made, dropped 25%, something like that. Then it had another, 20% correction. And then it had another, say, 27% correction. Over here, it had a 30% correction. Every time it had one of those, people were buying back at the dip, but not strongly. There was this uneasiness in the market. It's almost a sense that Bitcoin has to go ahead and correct and kind of get it over with. And so this type of drop where you're looking at, from here to here is like 50%. I think that adds market confidence because more and more, I mean, if you look at this, this is supply absorption. I mean, this wick right here, supply absorption. This is strong supply absorption. They bought it up from 30,000 to 38,000 in a single day, in a single wick. And so that's strong supply absorption. So it could be that the bottom is in at 30,000 and now it's going to turn around. But we would need to see the RSI break at least back up into this trend and then break out. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. We might see a few days to a few weeks of consolidation before there's any real recovery of Bitcoin. We got to get above the 200-day EMA and then above the 100-day EMA and then above the 50-day EMA before there's any real breakout to come. And there's definitely going to be some consolidation ahead of us that we need to watch. All I can say is every setback is actually a setup. And you got to focus your mind and heart on seeing this moment as a setup instead of a setback. Because you're going to look ahead, you're going to look back to this moment and say, why didn't I fill in the blank? Why didn't I buy? I mean, I can look back to last night, and I wrote down in my journal this morning 3 things that last night I thought I should do these 3 things. 4 things, actually. Had I done even one of them, I wouldn't have gotten liquidated in my investment account. The cool thing about my trading account, the cool thing about my investment account is that you can't get liquidated unless everything goes to 0. So with that being said, be encouraged, folks. Be encouraged. This is just a moment, but it's actually a good moment. And we got to look at this moment with the eyes of investors. The eyes of investors. Investors love catastrophic market events because you get to buy things on the cheap. Okay? All right. Just remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. That stuff is just my opinion. You got that. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you all are well. Stay safe out there. Sleep in peace every night. Wake in joy every morning and walk in love every day. This is Cryptogenic signing out.